Zonam jen dola benje sanje dombaraish sanje jodan soje zonam la chanjo bardo dane jab sanje dage jen soje be zonam jen dola benje sanje dombaraish sanje jodan soje zonam la chanjo bardo dane jab sanje dāgī jīnsū jībē chōnām jīn dōlā bīñjī sāngjīn dōbārā. From now on till enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created this practice, may attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now on till enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha and the Sangha, and by the merit created this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
공간을 붙이 릴룸바스기 하나야. 아라운드 두점 좋아하는 종이도 찾은 점 많이 지지는 치면 남자이 됐습니다. 저다이 가르친 거라잖아. 말하면서 세기나 치마. 아니 배민고 아니 배 돈다지나. 예. 부자 빈고가 부자 빈고냐네. 부자 빈고데. 이런 치마니 미치마도 지리. 미일진데. 예. 대대시 지구는 강사지라 주치는 강사지라 가라고 하겠으니 신기기 도배 담선데 벤저리 디기네 아니 치마 벤지 기타페 여 치마 벤지 나는데 지 자기 그 거의 내는데 대화도 좋아해 응 진지지 두어 있나 무슨 이게 주마 살찐데 파인데 지든 치만 로야기 답에 하기 가서 남자가 나서나 뒤서 시작이야 이거라 치마 펜제 펜터야 되나 nendenjin bebore se ta nembo chinte su gore se pe dilunga sergi khande na ta debe khadula sojin debe khadula tigi penjor ta kan sen ta puri pata yi ne pe gyurne je kom gi dwal sen ta puri ti chima penjala ti pendo hai ma ti ran tendel ji digala tele milo tai ko ka ramera ni so de ti ni la chi i dugi paente 두가 이시 방도 빠샤샤 되는 저 치마 펜젤을 뒤에 상마게 봐도 뒤 랑기 대화 지샤티 저기 모아 상복이 되니 이거니 샤샤요나 되니 상 수수 상게 고방 말에 버도 뒤 펜타고 와서 수고하겠어.
The great Master Hondar Rinpoche has said this. Even though you manage to accumulate gold and treasures that can fill up entire valley, but at the time of leaving or at the time of dying, you can take basically nothing along with you. So reciting a 60-level mantra of compassion, just this recitation can become something that can benefit this life as well as future rebirths too. So this advice, especially for the practitioners, when we look at the benefit, advantages of this lifetime only, and then benefit and advantages that can be benefit in the long term. He advised we need to be looking into something that can benefit us in the long term until we attain something that is really kind of oriented towards this one lifetime only, such as clothing, meal, fame, respect, wealth. All of these are limited to this lifetime only. And for somebody who is engaged in Buddhist practice, they should not only kind of have this narrow-minded, limited-minded, but able to see a long-term benefits of what they can reap from this lifetime. So therefore, engaging in the positive activities, creating, such as reciting six-syllable mantra of compassion, one can plant the seed of virtuous action, which can sustain until one attain, the ultimate objective of enlightenment. So, accumulations of wealth, possessions, fame, respect, can definitely help us to help us to free from poverty. But at the end of our life, they cannot go beyond, with us. So positive karma action, virtuous activities that we created, can have mental imprints that will stay continuously with our mind, and will kind of remain until we attain enlightenment. So therefore we need to be engaged in the activities that can help us in the long term, not just short, one lifetime limited. So whatever virtuous activities that we create, positive activities that we that we have done, such as through physical, like prostrations, or verbal, or mental. It is good to create any positive activities with a complete and perfect way. That means beginning with the generating proper intention at the beginning of the day, and then when you engage in the actual action or active creating of positive activities, making sure that the actual act is also at its best, and then at the end kind of concluding with the dedication. Because for ordinary people, without doing a dedication, whatever positive activities that we have created, it might get destroyed by negative thoughts such as hatred and others. So whatever positive activities that we create, it is good to emphasize how we create it, how we perform it. So therefore, it's important to have all of these components, beginning with intention, actual act, and then dedication. And whatever we have listened, studied, making sure that eventually it turns into practice. And especially, as mentioned before, intention or motivation, because intention and motivation can make a big differences. They are very powerful in kind of turning or transforming your action, which comes later. Positive activities that we created through physical, verbal, and mental. Among these three, as you know, the mental creation of positive activities is most difficult, yet also most powerful. And when we look at those three components, motivation, actual act, and dedication, all of these are created or performed in a very short moment, and very quickly. So the mind training that we are studying in this text is actually the practice of the mind, and how we can direct our thought and mind towards creating a positive activities, and how can we reduce, obstruct, or cease engaging of our thought or mind into those self-cherishing thought, self-grasping thought, all those negative emotions. So it is really a training of the mind, how to control it, how to use it in a more positive or constructive way. So mainly we are talking two things here, the practice of altruistic mind, or bodhicitta, or awakening mind, and the wisdom part, wisdom realizing emptiness, or understanding of a reality of things. And so these are the two main kind of point or subject that we are trying to study, train, and adopt, and eliminate obstacles in attaining these two qualities. And so if practitioners has a good idea of what they are studying in this text, then that might be helpful in kind of generating a good and a strong interest. So therefore it should be kind of helpful to understand, to know at least the what we are studying in this text. And we will continue with the reading of the book.
오다 사와데디 렌저 미차 제바네 로종라 찌지도 이 마체바 렌가 바레고 소 센디 순죽제 바르버도 류마 예수 로어 민기타 파레양 제바 델타부 마임바 우스미디 좀바 한지 찌지도 니니란 디바리디 뒤숨 야와 탐지기 로바지게 람이 비치고 야와 탐지 로바지게 람스리가라 중앙 남아서네 야와 탐지 헬사데 다가름 돈다 인곤 디디시나 자주 비셈다 통이 또베 타와 냠렌치니 에니베 상이 이사야 해바리 디르라테라 가 수순 더바 연디치 더바 연디마 더바 메디가라 유자야 많이 받지 그러니까 이나 딜라니 찌찌도 좀바 땡고래 수는 거야 거기 지금 뭐네 지 딘디기 슈상 람상지 있나 아 알아서 지 뭐네 대wan 정인지나 이거 땡땡 냠는 제거에 내 차로 와 상기 탐제 람디 전에 편인상 말아서 상기를 때봐요 상기 람세 발란 누구인 인생인지 인상 아니 상기 강라 패스 람데니 말아서 저기 이 딜라니 빼 람팅이라 냠는지는 상기사 무저제티 뭐 초대던 아니 로아직이나 펜터블 그래 이도스 저제도 장제반 말기티 유생 어떻게
if you have a same textbook, it's on page 104. Root text, don't be sporadic. This refers to meditating occasionally and performing some virtues of body and speech in the name of religion, but without wholehearted faith in the practice of mind training. Being chiefly involved in amassing wealth for this life. Instead of behaving like this, it is appropriate to concentrate all activities of body, speech, and mind single-pointedly on this practice of mind training. This is because this is the sole path traversed by all the Buddhas of the three time. So don't be sporadic. The reason here says that the practice of this mind training is like here it is translated as a soul path, but it would be like a highway. This is the only way that can lead to the ultimate enlightenment, and this is the soul path or highway or the main roadway through which all enlightened beings have went through. So therefore, one shouldn't be kind of sporadic, doing it when you have desire or when you have a mood, or not doing it when you don't want. This practice should be something that one must be engaged continuously, all the time, regularly.
유전대 인상 상기 탐진 람티가네 배 인상 말랑서 지 원에 때라 삼천에 봐 디마니 탐제 딩이를 지거라넌데 있어 보다 원에 태좀 맞아지는 원에 상기 와도 우거니 먹어는 땅 거예요 말이 딩이 상기 원한테니 패발에 이 람팅이가 냠는지네 패발에 말랑서 삼천에 때라 아니 배 냠는지 투비이나 상기 에네페 지니 용수존에 아니 아리 시디 빠자데 제바 장지 딩이 빠자데 제바 장지 니네 그냥데 돌아 예 말은 소게 도불이 세수와 돈다니 것에 뒤수와 삼점은 누마 탐제 딩이라 지워는데 스타트 소수 뭐 강이게 지지니 냐면 제 오래서 쓴 거야 다르구나
Next, from the root text is practice unflinchingly. This supports the previous point, which is don't be sporadic. Without wavering, integrate all aspirations to one purpose. So, without wavering, or without having any doubt, any suspicion, without having any kind of true thoughts, one should just integrate all aspirations, all effort, all interest into this just one purpose. And the reason is, as it says at the previous point, this is the sole path, main roadway to attain enlightenment, and the path that can eventually help us to free from two obscurations, including all mental imprints or latencies.
Pemba rintu parme ugoni zipata zipar ugosum ki choba kunong da chebala tani sunchuma tam irawe sulki pindawa chao sewada che zena la tojing ni zinjing ni la kaje tokwa rakpa de zing zingwas ne 차와들라 20%네. 그 뭐래 사무단도가라 이 제네 배 갈수. 멤버단도가라 분야는 그 배 지속한가 사무단은 당나 이거는 연구하래. 그때는 아주 체도 아주 그 제요하래. 이 예. 즉고 락바다만 손에 차리요래. 후기 죽자대 차와래. 유서 망고 와래. 어떻게 그가 소문단지 내니 간지 체부 후냐 링도 간가 사무단에 람데 두고르마도 나같이 지네. 어떤 이 탈도 들에서세 땐 자완이니요 말에. 이니가라 제부 간
It is translated as a release, investigation, and analysis. In the investigation and analysis, these are actually it refers to how you engage, how your mind engage in the object of the observation or whatever the target is, when examination or when trying to understand. So in the text, like Treasury of Knowledge, Abhidharma Kosh, these two refers to the first one is first one investigation, as you will see later in the translation here. Same meaning in Tibetan, but in English here you can see two different translations. Investigation refers to actually a grosser or more coarse way of investigation or analysis. In both sense, they are investigation of your mind, but the first one is at the grosser level, more coarse. The second one is when it says analysis, it means to be more kind of subtle, more closer. So there are the two differences, but in your translation, it. So if you read the in the explanation, it says. This gives that you should give up gross and subtle analysis of your motivation for your actions of body, speech, and mind with reference to your long, middling, and short-term aims, and should spend the time rejoicing. So action of body, speech, and mind, and the motivation of all these three when engaged in whatever activities that you perform through these three. So doing through kind of two ways. The first one is more at the grosser level. The second is more kind of subtler level of analysis.
Galkin the cell de any to check the two water, Galkin Guinea cell Tapsil Mambe to check two gains, no one yoma. But the thing you got do Tanje Samlo Tanje Tanje any June ten about the Legatina, Lena Patina Chick Dulam 10 day out you know. The mother Guinea no yoma is to Tingola, the chick Dupu. Kangala was Chawa, is what Indian Yalenching Latana, around to Chanjuki, 7 Yalenchina. Tana around to let them pour it. Chanjuki, 7 chip. John Money, Comba your Mari, Comba may say, Gume Lamla Jin, Mazunduar. Chazam Tilla, chip. Money, Gume Lam Jin Rudigal, they Sapraga Tapiche, Nipe Milan Kacheti, teacher Buddha. What a tension today. Chanjuki Sendi, Galtin Kalimbo, Ranchin in a Kandesi, a Pion to Tau Wood, Jenchin in Pine Carcato, and it any Milan Kandesi Yang Wood. But no Seni Jangu, or the Tarana Jingi, Chick. Sony Lanchi, but you don't also. Gajang wins Zingo Marti, Munzin Cavalry, Chini, Lending in Nava. 할리가 가서 투고야. 투고에 인상 맞죠? 가리 나와 율코라니 왜 통상인 율코랑은 좀 되든지 마도 이 위에 뭔가 처음 되든지다. 뒤에 배 라바수 레지나 율은 뭔가 처음 되든지 사두 뭔가 처음 되든지 사 되든지 임바가 맞죠? 그럼 내가 내게 코랑 영 말와. 말라이게 지금 맞죠? 하게 Lindsay nowadays to go in there. Any to do one, one male, any tensions in there, Telecamp, Jarola, than they in some, much tongue to the Nepal, then the margin, and some label. But that thing is that he wanted any town Japan in any bed. Angela, now I make correct. Any pay. There, what a penny one day on water. Japan, number Sanji, sometimes the Marigold give the Denzin and Bay, Denzi won't get too soon won't get Lesa, lay on the crop or to shake your one. What a thing is so called chick money must sometime wear no which have done, or a pursuit on some time. Any coral beach in some corner, any coral start up the genie. Some courage
having a human intelligence and being a human being, when we engage in creating whatever action or deeds, we need to be have using this kind of ability to, as mentioned here, analysis and investigation. What are the short-term benefits? What are the long-term benefits? And what are the obstacles that is causing you a barrier in not attaining, the short-term benefits as well as long-term benefits? And how can you eliminate those barriers or obstacles? And especially for beginners in the practice of mind training, we are beginners. We are in Tibetan wood. We are first timer. we are the first time engaged in this kind of practice, and therefore we have no knowledge of the path, the basic practice. So when we are taking kind of a journey into unknown places, we usually rely upon guide. We rely upon map. We ask people. Exactly the same way here, when we engage in this new path, new practice, new method, we should be using every resources that we have. So in the practice of mind training, in generating altruistic mind, in awakening mind, we need to be having an understanding of what are the negative results of having selfishness. What are the positive results of generating other cherishing thoughts, positive emotions. These are all kind of sort of new to us, So we need to be using every resources to make us to give us best information about what we are studying and what we are engaged into. Same way with the understanding of emptiness. In the understanding of emptiness, we try to identify what we call objective negation. What we are trying to negate when we say emptiness. What is empty of what? And here again, because we have a very thick layer of what we called, true appearance, meaning that when we look out, the things appear to us as if they exist independently, self-sufficiently, without anything to do with cause and effect. And we don't have that idea that although things appears to be solid independently, self-sufficiently, but in fact they are not in that. That is not the reality. They exist in such a way that they are made up from very smallest atomic particles combining together, and then when you look at those objects, they are all interdependent. Lack of intrinsic nature, lack of true existence, and but we don't have those kind of understanding when we look out. Things appears to be self-sufficient, unrelated to others, lack of interconnection. So from our perspective, we don't have an understanding of those let alone dependent origination, but interconnectedness. And so when we don't have those knowledge, when we look out, then things appear to us as independently existing, self-sufficiently existing, without anything to do with cause and effect. And our kind of tendency is that we are very much focused on activities that is limited to this lifetime only. We don't look beyond this lifetime. And so therefore, as you know, in Buddhism, the root cause of all suffering is ignorance, and ignorance generates 3 types of poison, and then we create karma, and from those negative karma we suffer. So that becomes kind of in itself a rebirth cycle that we never able to free ourselves from. So therefore here it is also important to have when we talk about investigation and analysis, understanding of how cyclic existence function. And if you think about, spend some time understanding, what is cyclic existence, why we take continuously kind of in the cycle of rebirth and suffering, then the better understanding of cyclic existence might generate in us some interest or some desire, of freeing ourselves from this continuous cycle.
따나 이시 네 코 펜바 늘리지 따베인데 그리고 니 지금에서 사나 남자지 가서 툭툭지 개다다 이툭다 당한 레당고 망쳐지 도스다 이게 아마다 다 돈당 얼마 전주 있으면 연는 재민지 가리고 와 더룬 파 펜타니양 수 오늘 연는 펜비 잘 보이지만 이 펜답에 렌데 펜박은 잘 보이나 때려 펜비 맞아는 너는 너비 잘나 데라 그래서 강나다게 로정 시기는 니도 강나다게 펜답 배워져와 간지 신도 미는 내지는 생긴다 봤다 그래서 수도 수 너는 파 펜타니 야구 맞아 들어올 때 누구 시기이나 내가 한데 누가 또 뉴스 다 왔어 내가 좀 있으면 야면 제기 내 치수 차려 이 수와 말한 아 펜다제나 이 시기와 말아 가서 뚝뚝 비인디가 지단이 아주 이 터진 가사 넘김랑 도서 진바 당주가가 배 내민다 레와 깨깨레와 맞아지 깨깨깨 펜바 크랑 땅과르시디 자주 있으면은 가고 맹인지 이거야 빼 가버려 이미용의 괜찮아 란진진다 란신이 있지요 정인디
The next root text from the root text, don't be boastful. This is again a very common sort of behavior of the beginners, the first timers or the ordinary people. Because a very thick layer of this self-cherishing thought, what we tend to do is, even though if you benefit small things, very small, tiny for others, and in return if you get something bad, harmful, then you kind of announce it as to like an entire world, how you are grateful to that person, and how now in return you are kind of getting all those harmful treatment. And the benefit that you did is really tiny, and but however we do that kind of thing. We make a big announcement how you are a nice person, how you treat good to that person, and but in return now you are kind of getting all this mistreatment. So here the mind training practice is that don't be that kind of a person. Don't be having that kind of behavior. Do not boast of a little good you have done for others by repeatedly reminding them of it. So that's what we do, even though we did a very little good, but we keep kind of repeating that again and again just to prove that how good a person you are. If it were proper to boast of the good you have done, the transcendent subduer would have said so, but he didn't. It's not exemplary because, as mentioned here, it's not done by enlightened beings, noble beings, those who we look up to. Instead, in the practice of the mind training, even if you receive harmful responses for your positive help, benefit or good treatment to others, what should be your response, such as it is mentioned in the 8 verses of transforming the mind? When one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. So somebody that you have been treating extremely nicely and you are receiving every time negative response, but your response still should be kind of positive, optimistic, and embrace that individual's treatment and that individual as mentioned here, the best spiritual guide. That is how our response should be. And all of this behavior or personality that we childish or ordinary people have, easy to get irritated, easy to get angry, unsatisfied. It really is rooted in these two these two thoughts in our mind, as we find in the stages of path, Lamrim text, self-cherishing thought, self-grasping thought, self-cherishing thought, and self-grasping thought. Practice of generosity, all the act of giving itself is of course a positive act, something that we should be done. But again, in Buddhist practice, we should be practitioners should be using a best kind of intelligence. Simply act of giving, there's no guarantee whether it is beneficial or not. You need to be looking at how it is benefiting, who are the one that is receiving your benefits. If your giving is having a more harmful impact on others rather than benefiting, then that kind of giving is not meaningful or a positive generosity. And when you give whatever object, or you shouldn't have any sense of stinginess in your thought. And of course, along with that, having one shouldn't have any kinds of expectation in return in the practice of giving. And when you have all of this, the opposite of all of this, then your act of giving is not the positive, or not a constructive, or not a virtue. Next is translated as don't be short-tempered. You should not express dissatisfaction with the size of offerings and rewards, or you will breach the commitment not to grumble. In the Tibetan text, according to the Tibetan text, in English translation, it should have so on or etc., which is not in English, because you should not express dissatisfaction and so on. So that is in Tibetan, but not in English. So that so on has a meaning in Tibetan text. Not only kind of simply dissatisfaction, but here it refers to the entire what we call 8 worldly concerns. Offerings or rewards. Under that, according to the Tibetan text and the word so on or extra, it includes the 8 worldly concerns, and rewards and offering don't kind of easily, as mentioned here, kind of short-tempered. The 8 worldly concerns, those are actually again very much rooted in the concept of this, this ego mind, and in the 8 worldly concerns. What is happening is everything is kind of rooted in this kind of importance of sacredness of this I. This always, our thought. I want, I want a good reputation. I want happiness, and this very strong emphasis on I. And from there comes this all 8 worldly concerns, and not be kind of short-tempered when this, important, exaggerated I is not satisfied.
랑원이 너매아지네 베진에 만나는 현실과 이 원이 이건 초대 용식에 말장라 이니베 야송 벌롱에 니게 나니 니치기 난다로 거 그랬어 니에 우쭈구르구디 이니베 다다 보여 마 다보면 뒤가라 미치디 우쭈구르구디 미치데는 배 노져서 와 어때 something 너무 좋아 코로나라 뉴문을 뜬도 땅에 배트가 뉴문을 라 디나니 뉴문 자왕 란진진 거지 everything 뉴문 차디요 어때 디 원기 중이 니제다 견도 땅에 배 뉴문 차들 와 어때 무슨 된 소리 잘 말해
In the stages of Padalamrim, you can find how those 8 worldly concerns are kind of are causing harm and becoming kind of obstacles in the path of practitioners. We find a story like this in the stages of path when a great Indian master and practitioner Patamba Sangye visited western Tibet place called Tuling. At the same time, this great practitioner Geshe Ben Kungil, he was inviting his sponsors to his place, and so he set up a very nice altar. And after finishing, having altar beautifully set up, he just thought of himself and why he did this, and he was checking his intention, and he realized that his intention was to please his sponsor. And then immediately he kind of went to kitchen, pick up handful of ashes and throw over the altar. And so when later his sponsor came, he was covering his head with his robe, and all the altars were kind of full of dirt. And at that time, Patamba Sangye, who was at another place, he threw his, having his, clairvoyance power, he appreciated by saying that now today, this Geshe Ben Kungel has practiced Dharma in its purest form, So that is how kind of we should be in practice, kind of looking at our intention, why and how, kind of. So he mentioned that he threw dirt upon 8 worldly concerns. So in kind of in engaging in practice, as mentioned before, we need to be having kind of a holistic understanding. What are the temporary and ultimate benefits, disadvantages, possible obstacles, and sometimes you see it is not appropriate to some people, and sometimes appropriate, sometimes not, and when seeing not kind of appropriate, not suitable, it might be because of to those individuals, again, kind of this thick layer of self-grasping, self-cherishing thought. And at the same time, it is kind of impossible to satisfy the needs of all individual. When we look back into historical Buddha Shakyamuni, he came to India, and of course he didn't try, and he was not. He didn't try, and he didn't attempt to turn every Indians into Buddhist practitioner. And there were many people who criticize, who look down upon Buddha. But the most important thing is without of honesty, without of a good intention, doing at your best, engaging in the practice. And because these are things that can happen anytime, people criticizing you, looking down upon you, not agreeing with you, but from your side, doing at your best, out of honesty, out of good intention. And this could be something that happens all the time, and it is something that can happen again. And we have this kind of expression saying that there are 100 individual reciting 8,000 verses, scripture, and there's only one individual who is reciting it in a very perfect way in terms of pronunciation, and all remaining 99s are not reciting it in a good way. So because of the collective kind of effort of those remaining 99, they look at that one individual and they think that he is reading a wrong way. So in our time, it is hard to find maybe a huge population or group to consider negative emotions as a cause of problem and suffering. So therefore, there aren't that many people who kind of agree with this kind of practice. But however, doing your best, again, as kind of with honesty and with a good intention. We'll take a break here.